Welcome to Sunfire Designs. Today I'm going to be using gold chain, obviously not real gold, and putting it in a tray because I thought it would look kind of cool. I don't know if you saw my other tray that I made and I had chain around the outside. This one, I've already laid it out. I was trying to make sure it was something I wanted to do before I started the video. But I have the gold chain wrapped around the lip 2 times and then another piece just kind of going over, crisscrossing in a random pattern. And I'm thinking about adding just a few little pieces of gold leaf and then letting it cure and then coming back and adding a navy blue or a black background. I think that would look really, really cool. So I've already mixed up my resin. I mixed up 5 ounces. That might be more than what I need, but I wanted to make sure I had enough. I can always use it for something else. This is the chain I'm using. It's pretty cool. I just got it at Michael's. It was on clearance for $3, so I figured why not? I'll find something to do with it. And then this mold, I believe I got it on Amazon. Everything I've used, I will put links to in the description. This is T-Expert's 1-to-1 ratio resin. It's gonna give it a little spritz because it's got a couple little bubbles that are still coming out. I've let it sit for a few minutes to try to eliminate as many as possible. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start. So I'm gonna take a popsicle stick, and I like to use the silicone covered ones, but I'm gonna pour over the popsicle stick so that the resin runs down and over, and then I'm gonna go around and poke it with this to make sure there aren't any bubbles caught in the links. I'm only gonna cover enough so that it attaches the gold chain and sticks it down, and so that the dark can't overcome it and hide it when I pour the dark over it. Which means that a lot of this lip is gonna be clear, but I think it'll still look cool, so we will see. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of pour it gently into here and see what I can do. It's probably gonna end up filling the outside all the way, only because when I pour it on the inside, then it's gonna fall down into the outside anyway. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it. It's not as important here as it is on the top. I just wanna make sure that I don't move what I've done. All right, I guess I didn't need the popsicle stick. It's working just fine. I was trying to be proactive, but I think that it's not necessary for what I'm doing. I'm just following the line of the chain. It's actually filling up the mold as we go, but at least this way I'll know that all parts of the chain have been covered. And I just want to make sure that it comes up over to the top, but that I still have room for a background. I think I'm almost there. Almost. Let's see. A little more there. I think that looks pretty good, because if I go too much more, I'm going to end up with not enough room to do my dark. All right, so I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that'll be enough. I do see a couple little bubbles that have clung to the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of go around and poke this to jar loose any bubbles that might be hanging out in the chain. Yep, there's one. All right. Got a couple coming up, but it's not as bad as I thought. When I did the last one, I didn't have nearly as many bubbles, and I had pre-soaked the chain to make sure that I got any bubbles out. There's one there. I mean, I probably will end up with some just because it's inevitable when you're doing something with a lot of little holes and stuff in it. All right, I am going to do this really fast and then come back. That way you're not sitting here watching me do this and it's kind of boring. So I'll be right back. I let it sit for a few minutes and I poked around and I hope that I've got all the bubbles. I think I have. There may be a couple little ones that rise up, but hopefully it won't mess with our look that we're going for. I think I'm gonna add a few pieces of gold leaf. Not very many, not very big, because I don't want to overwhelm the piece, but just, you know, a couple pieces here and there. And I will tap them down with a with my little stick here in a minute. I have to pull out pieces and make sure they're not too big or not too small. Trying to work with what's on the lid. Yeah. And all I'm getting is really big pieces. Let's see. Break that one in half. And I can always squish them around and make sure they're the size that I want. One more little piece. All right, I'm gonna have to move that one. And one there. All right, so let's poke these down and see if we can get them to look. Get off me. There we go. I like them when they're kind of crinkled up and not perfectly flat. Whoops, I just breathed and sent them all over the place. Probably should put the lid back on there. Okay. I got distracted with all the shiny things. Okay. Gonna break that up into two pieces because it was kind of big. Actually might take this little piece and put it over here. I'm weird about symmetry, I guess you'd call it. I want things to be kind of symmetrical, but that's kind of a weird thing. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Hopefully this will come out okay, and when we put the dark background on it, it would look really cool. I'm thinking next time maybe I would add some pearls, because I think pearls and gold and like navy would look really cool. But not today. I'm going to leave it the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to torch it one last time. And then I'm going to turn on the heat mat and let it cure, and we will come back to add the top coat, which is actually the bottom coat, when I come back. I'll see you soon. Welcome back. So my little tray has cured, and now I was taking it out, and unfortunately it looks like it is full. So there's just a little bit of room on this side, and it is like almost up to the top on this side. So I'm not sure if putting a coat on the top is going to work. I'm going to try. And the issue is that, as I've mentioned before, my table is not level. So it kind of ran down to that corner. I flipped it, turned it around. So I'm just hoping it doesn't end up being, not getting enough coverage here. I'm just going to put the bare minimum on. What I did is I mixed up my resin to be super, super, super opaque. So hopefully if I can just get some on there, it won't cause an issue. And I think I'm actually going to stick, because it tends to flow that way, I think I am just going to stick this under there to try to level it out some. It sucks because it doesn't matter what I do. My table, it's a folding table, because when I first started doing this, no, it's too high. Sorry, I'm going to try to see if I can balance it out with this. When when I first started doing this, it was using I just started with a folding table. I didn't need anything more than that. So, all right, well, this looks like it's mostly ballot, so fingers crossed it doesn't run all over the place. Anyway, so I mixed up my resin. I mixed up 2 ounces. I'm not gonna need 2 ounces on this, I don't think. I mixed up, I just got this in the mail today. It's Color Passion, it's in navy. Look at that color. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think it's gonna look beautiful with the gold. Oh, I really hope this works. I don't wanna ruin my piece and have it be all wonky. I may go back and do like a flood coat on top if I have to, but I'm trying to get it just enough coverage so that it doesn't, it has some color in the background. It does not turn out the way I had imagined in my mind, but hopefully it'll be, you know, things seldom do turn out the way I imagine them in my mind. So hopefully it will still turn out nicely. I'm gonna use this. I think this is actually meant for makeup, but you know what? It works out just fine for using it to move resin. So over here on this side is where it's kind of to the edge. But if I can just get it to give me a good back coat, that might be enough. And hopefully, like, as it levels, it doesn't like run off the edge or something. Fingers crossed. I'll be so bummed if I put in all this work and it doesn't do what I want. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to turn on the mat to try to get it to start curing before it has time to like shift and move directions. Because it's pretty, it's like a dome on this side. It's doming on this side, which is fine. As long as it doesn't overflow past the top, I will be okay with it. Sorry. My towels are buried. I got too many projects going on at once here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna torch it. Get rid of some of those bubbles. There's probably going to be more that come up as it cures, because that's what happens. And because I'm putting it on a heat mat, they're going to come out when I've got the lid on it, and because I have a cover over my heat mat that came with it. Really super awesome. I will try to put a link of it in the comments, and so you can see it comes with this cover. It's a thermal cover, so it kind of locks everything in. So it shouldn't take more than 30 minutes to an hour for this to cure all the way. And then I'll be able to come back and demold. So fingers crossed, guys. I'll see you in a few.